Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, fellow acolytes and Factorio interested people, and the people in the comments of my last how to use Helmod video. So for all you don't know what Helmod is basically a Factorio planner which enables you to plan ahead your base and calculate your resource needs, which is a pretty good mod if you are playing with big bases, want to make a mega base, or just want to put yourself through angel bobs with space exploration. Yeah, but in any way, this tool is a very nice tool to use. Alright, so disclaimer, this video is another updated video for how to use Helmod. The third one now, I think, because Helmod did change again interface wise and also a little bit how it works. So keep in mind, what I'm showing you today is not showing you how to use Helmod in the perfect right way or something like that. I will only show you how I'm using Helmod, right? So technically, no, that's not right. Technically, there's also a help up here, which is now a little bit better documented, but I'll guide you through all the steps of the mod anyway. Alright? Good. So let's see here. First, you press letter I on your keyboard, which is the default key, and then you see this big gray window. Right? You've got several tabs up here, which we'll go through one by one. And you also got this selector field here. This is your base time for the calculation, right? So 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, and everything in between. For most purposes, you'll need the 1 second, and that's fine, right? Because the ratios of your recipe won't change. Let's say gear wheels and iron plates have a ratio of 1 to 2, right? So even if you calculate that by 1 day or 1 hour, your numbers will still have a ratio of 1 by 2. Alright, so let's keep that at 1 second. Now you will be greeted normally with a empty line here. So maybe let me remove that. Right, and a question mark. And once you click on this question mark, it will also still be empty. You need to click on add a recipe. For the tutorial purposes, let's start with a pretty basic recipe, and we'll move over to a more advanced recipe to show really what this mod is all about. If you are not interested in the basic recipes and want to see the advanced recipe right away, I'll drop an annotation somewhere where you can scroll ahead to that position in the video, and I'll also put it in the description. For a simple demonstration, let's add the small electric poles recipe, but of course you can select any and every recipe you've got available in your base, right? Okay. So I'm gonna do this power pole recipe for a basic demonstration. If you want to see a more advanced recipe, scroll ahead in the video. I've put timestamps in the descriptions. Alright, so looking at this, you can see your recipe, how much energy it uses, which factory you're using, how many beacons you're using, how many products you're getting, and which ingredients you will be needing. Also, you can see in green your total output, in blue the output of this line, and in yellow the input. Alright, you'll also see sort by product input, ingredient input, compute by element, or compute by factory. Let's do it step by step. Let's do the basic calculation. Let's say I want to have 25 small electric poles per second. Then the calculator will tell me, hey, okay, you'll need 12.5 wood per second and 25 copper cables. Alright, so also on the global input, we've got these added as well. Now, this is a space manufactory, as you can see, and it also says you only need one, actually 0.7. Of course, it's early game, so we only got assembly machines 1. So click on the factory, and this window here will pop open, and then select the factory you want to use. Since it's an assembly machine 1, we can put any modules in, so that's it. The mod will tell us, alright, to make 25 small electric poles per second, you'll need 13 assembly machines Mark 1. Alright? Good. So wood I can get from trees, but copper cables I need to make from copper plates, right? So let's add this to the recipe. Alright. And of course, I'm using actually electronics assembly machines because I'm using Angel Bobs, right? So select this factory. So I'll need 7 electronics assembly machines Mark 1, actually 6.3, to make the required 25 copper cables, which will take 12.5 copper plates. And as you see, this input over here changed. So this global input will always be only the general combined input. So if you see, if I remove this row, it switched back to copper cable, right? So this will only show you the total raw ingredients. All right, let's change this back. Okay, so let's say you don't have a fixed number of ingredient in mind, but you have a certain set of, well, leftover things or so, and just want to see what can I make with that. So you click on small electric pole and say ingredient input, and then you will be greeted with your raw materials. So let's say I can provide 20 wood per second. All right, then this popped up with 20 wood, right? This recipe is now based on 20 wood. I can make 40 power poles, but I need 40 copper cables. That's this red thing over here. Okay, so also this row is a little bit weird. All right, and of course we will also need 20 copper plates. So always check here your rows. I don't know why that flipped. Probably because we are going by ingredient. I see. So if I say now I have 20 copper plates, then this arrow with these 40 copper cables is resolved. Or as you saw me doing it earlier, I can also just rearrange the rows, right? Okay, let's keep it as it is. As you can see here, these correlate with these. Okay, so let's take it from the basics again by sorting by input. To make the 25 power poles, I need 25 copper cables, and I can make 25 copper cables in 7 machines. So this is why those two correlate. Makes sense, right? If you click on this, a number to add this recipe, you will add exactly the amount you need. Alright, so this was computing by product input and ingredient input, right? So there's still another element. We can also compute by factory. So what does this mean again, right? Let's just select it. Oh no, everything breaks. Alright, we'll click on no. We see here a new field which is called factory number. Now we can say, hey, I've got 20 assembly machines 1 lying around. How many power poles can I make with that? I can make 40 power poles per second. So yeah, what resources will I need? 20 pieces of wood per second and 40 copper cables per second. And 20 copper cables, 20 copper plates per second. Okay, now let's say I'm the guy from the math questions, right? but I don't want to buy 100 melons. I want to have 4,000, let's put this back. I want to have 4,000 power poles per second. Also, if you're asking yourself what are these symbols here, this will automatically fill for you how much full belts you have, right? So if you click on this first transport belt, it will tell you 15 times 1, and now you can change this number to how many full transport belts you have. But I'll just use a raw number. Alright, 4,000 power poles. Needs 2,000 assembly machines Mark 1 and 1,000 electronic assembly machines. Can't do this, even though with a mega base and I'm on an island here, can't do this. So what's the solution for this? I guess we can upgrade our factory. Let's say I've got assembly machine Mark 2 researched. Alright, so I'm going to select this. Alright, I only need 1,334 assembly machines now. And I also got electronic assembly machines Mark 2. Okay, so instead of 1,000 I only need 445, right? My input will still be the same. The required ingredients are still the same because I want to have 4,000 power poles per second. But by changing it into faster factories, I can do with less factories. Alright, so let's say I also got access to speed modules Mark 2. Does make sense because I think with the technology of assembly machine Mark 2 you got, I think, access to these modules, but nonetheless. So you see, 2 module slots, so I can select 2 modules. Alright, this will turn down from 1,300 assembly machines to only 740, so that's already good. Let's say I also got beacons. Beacons you cannot add by number, right? So these get added automatically. If you see here, you've got 1 beacon affecting 4 assembly machines, which the standard beacon can do, and you've got how many assemblers per beacon for your calculations. Also, this is a standard value, so for beacons Mark 2 and 3 you gotta put those numbers in for your own, because those have a higher range as well. But for your vanilla players, you will only have this 1 beacon. Right, so let's put the same speed modules into these beacons as well. Alright, so with 327 beacons, my total factory number results in 393 assembly machines Mark II. Well, okay. If we upgrade 1 more tier and add the equivalent modules, we are down to 191. So for small numbers, this calculator is nice, but where it really shines is for optimizing big numbers and long chains, right? So let's go through it one more time. Product input and ingredient input switches between what you can actually assign. So for product input, you assign how many you want per second. By ingredient input, you can assign how many you can supply per second, and you will see what you will get out of it. And by computing by element, you set up how many of your recipe you want. And by computing by factory, you set up how many factories you have and how many products you can make with 20 factories, with 4 speed modules, with 70 beacons, right? So for planning your factory size ahead, the computing by factory is actually pretty nice, because you can say, hey, okay, I've got a blueprint design with 8 factories. How much power poles does this make? Aha, all right. So you don't need to build this and watch your production chart. You can just calculate it, and that's nice. Okay, of course, this is only a 2-step recipe here. So let's go ahead Alright, so we are done with this small recipe. I'll show you the other tabs now, and then we'll do an example for a little more advanced recipe. Next up is power. As you can see, your recipe already shows you how much megawatts you will need per line to make what you assigned. So we need 3.1 megawatts in total to make these power poles, and we need 4 megawatts additionally to make the copper cables. So if we click on power, we have nothing. We can add power now. So in our head, if we go back to production block, we are now on the outside and we see the total amount of energy required. If you're confused now and think, hey, wait, it was 2 lines. Yes, you need to click on the item and see, now you're back in your production block, right? This is just a total overview for this recipe. Okay, so 7.1 megawatt, we can either remember that and go into the power tab, or we can click on it and alright, so we can remember. Alright, so we see now we need 7.1 megawatt in total. Let's go to power, add power. What's our power generating means? I'm a fan of solar panels, so let's do large solar panels. And now we get asked, how much power do you want to create? So let's say 7.1 megawatt. Okay, close that down. Tells you 67 large solar panels is required. Let's see how many steam engines Mark II, that's the steel ones, are required. 4. Oh man, poor solar power. Alright, also you can say here secondary generator, let's say boiler 2, efficiency 1. Okay, oops, that was the help window. And now we can see, hey, okay, we've got 4 steam engines, we need 2 boilers. Because the ratio with boilers now is actually pretty nice in 1 to 2, so 1 boiler, 2 steam engines, right? There's no need calculating that. But if you're going for nuclear power, you can say here heat exchanger, and the steam turbine is your generator, then you can get better numbers out of it. Alright, we also got the resources tab. This just shows the total amount required of wood and copper plates for the recipe that we are making in here. Alright, okay, and then we've got our summary tab. So we would need 14 steam engines Mark I, or 192 normal solar panels and 160 accumulators. We will use 8 assembly machines Mark III and 19 electronics assembly machines Mark II. We'll use 7 beacons and 46 raw speed modules. So this is basically just a summary. And then we've got the statistic tab, which I don't know really why I would use it, but it shows you the amount of buildings you have online right now. So I've got 27 drills in my world and 9 labs. Alright, so let's do a more complex recipe here. What shall we do? Shall we do sulfuric acid? So in Bobs and Angels, sulfuric acid is actually a pretty long recipe line, but it's okay. So let's do a standard calculation, product input. So I say I need 200 liters of sulfuric acid per second. Okay, I've got Angels chemical plants Mark I at the moment. Has 1 module slot, but I don't have any modules, so that's okay. And that requires me to build 3 chemical plants Mark I. Okay, what do we need? Purified water and sulfur dioxide. So it's always good to have kind of a structure in your recipe, as you will see now, as when you've got a big long recipe, I'll always go through the ingredients for my product that I want to make from left to right. So let's focus on purified water. Purified water is a recipe here. We'll need a hydro blend. I only have hydro blend Mark 1 access right now. Alright, so I need 2 of those, and I need 300 liters of water. Alright, so I don't need to find water here, and I think I have it. Right, because you do that with a normal offshore pump. There's other ways of generating water in AngelBobs, but we are just using the one from the normal pumps. Alright, so now we've got another problem here, right? Our output, or what we wanted to have, was 200 liters of sulfuric acid, but because we are required to purify water, we also get 40 saline water as a byproduct, which now appears up here. Alright, so that's the water all set up. So next up we need sulfur dioxide gas. So where do we get sulfur dioxide gas from? From various processes, but I think the most common one is taking sulfur and just oxidize it, right? So now we've got 2 new ingredients. We are in this right tab, so now we are focusing on creating sulfur dioxide. So now we've got 2 new ingredients, sulfur and oxygen. So again, I'll set up my chemical plant Mark 1. And now I'm going to focus on making sulfur. How to get sulfur? Well, the most common way in AngelBobs is by purifying sulfuric wastewater. Alright. So again, I only got hydro plant Mark 1. No modules, no beacons. This will create 3.4 sulfur per second. Actually, you only need 3.4 hydro plants because their speed is 1. So yeah, you will overshoot your production a little bit, but that's okay. As you can see now, we need 333 liters of sulfuric wastewater, which will in turn produce 233 purified water, 66 mineralized water, and 3.4 sulfur, the amount we need. And now look up here. Now we've got 233.4 of purified water left over, because we are making 233 and 200, but we only need 200. So actually this row can go, right? So we can delete this row, bada boom bada bing, and we've got only 33.4 of purified water left over, because we get purified water by sulfur purification. Nice. Okay, next up we need sulfuric wastewater. Well, I don't know, wastewater is, you can get this by everything. Most commonly you will get this in AngelBobs from your oil separation, right? So we can add this, or you can get it by washing ores, right? It's even better. It's 5 times the amount. So you decide. I'll get mine from washing ores. So if you go the oil route, now you have to set up your oil, as you can see here, multi-phase oil. Let's not do this. Let's just keep it simple for the advanced demo. So I'm washing my ore here. Alright, in flotation cells Mark 1. So that's 18 flotation cells already. Okay, and now I've got my 334 sulfuric wastewater. I also get 3.4 geodes and 13.4 saphirite chunks, which I need to get away with, right? So I need to process them in another way. So you can fine-tune this recipe to get the least amount of everything. So ores, I cannot get rid of ores pretty much. So maybe it would be the better way to go for oil processing. We've got 33.4 purified water left over. You see that? So technically we can use that for our hydro refining, because that also needs purified water. I'll click on it one more time, and as you can see, the purified water is gone now. Alright, so just for your notice, the purified water up here, which we had too much of, is now gone, right? And we are now washing the ores with it. Of course, we'll still need more purified water, but we are not overshooting purified water production. Okay, let's check out what changes if we go for oil, because oil is easy to get rid of if you have enough of it, that is. So let's just say we've got just normal oil and gas separators. I would need 67 oil and gas separators. Alright, keep in mind I would have needed 18 flotation cells from my ore processing, which I probably do anyway, so yeah. And we'll get 600 liters of gas, 2000 liters of oil, and only 333 liters of ore. Sulfuric wastewater, which is exactly the number that we require, right? That's what this mod is for. Okay, so that means I need to get 3000 liters of oil by pumping it. That's the wrong. There. Crude oil? Is it crude oil? Yeah, from crude oil. Alright, so we need, oh lord, 334 pump checks, right? To make the 3334 liters of multi-phase oil in 1 second. So as you can see, these recipes are blowing up really quick. So what do you think? What's the better route? The ore or the oil route? Let's go back to ore, right? Okay, so again, washing the ore. Nice. So if we would set this up as a separate entity, totally unlinked to our existing ore production, we now need to get saphirite ore, turn this back to flotation cell mark 1, turn this back to that saphirite ore, which gets crushed. So normally there should be a crusher. The crusher is having a speed, the normal crusher is having a speed of 0.5, I think. Alright. Oh wait, this is crushing by hand. Crushing with crusher. Always check your recipe description. Alright, crushing normally, there we go. And we've got normal electric crushers here. Okay, so we need 5 crushers and we need 13.4 saphirite ore, which we need to mine, right? Alright, and that requires, I've got normal mining drills, 27 mining drills. Hey. Alright, so that's basically this recipe fully explored. Oh wait, we forgot the oxygen. We still need to make oxygen, so this is all just to make sulfur, right? Oxygen, my favorite way to make that is by air separation. So we need another set of chemical plants. Alright, no beacons. And of course we'll create 200 liters of nitrogen gas additionally. So you see there's a whole tail forming here, which we can void, I think, so that's okay. And we need 400 liters of compressed air, which we'll get from air filters. Alright, Mark 1 of course. So now that's this recipe finished. Air filter has no inputs, so we create 400 liters of compressed air with 12 air filters. This will get separated in 200 liters of nitrogen and 200 liters of oxygen, which we need up here. Additionally, we are mining 13.4 sapphirite ore with 27 drills. We crush it, we wash it, we get sulfuric wastewater from it, which we are actually also purifying, right? And then we get our sulfur, and from the sulfur and oxygen we can make sulfur dioxide gas, and from that, with water, we can make sulfuric acid. So that's a little bit longer recipe. Technically, you can add your rocket here, right? So let's say add recipe, add space science. Oh, I don't know if that works for me here, because I'm using space exploration. I think that won't work for me, but you can still click together your rocket here. If you say navigation satellite, rocket control unit, right? And rocket fuel. For your vanilla users, you can just select space science. And yeah, then it would show you how many rockets per minute. And then basically you can plan your whole playthrough with this mod. Let's check the summary here. We need 13.4 sapphirite ore and 300 purified water. So although we are making sulfuric acid, there's no hint at all that we are actually using sulfur, because again our inputs get compressed into the most basic produces, right? Right, and in summary, again, we can either use 23 steam engines, 288 solar panels with 240 accumulators, and we'll need 12 chemical plants Mark 1, 2 hydro plants Mark 3, so I didn't switch those out, 18 flotation cells, 5 ore crushers, 27 electric mining drills, and 12 air filters. 0 beacons, since we don't have any beacons set up in the recipe. So if we go back in here and just say, okay, I've got 2 beacons, I saved them, and I'll use them for sulfuric acid, then what will happen? Beacons show up here. Of course, we only need 1 chemical plant now, and we also only need 1 beacon. And if we check back with this summary, there we go, 1 beacon, 2 modules. Alright, so that concludes this tutorial on how to use Helmod. I'll put timestamps in the description. If you have any feedback or suggestions of what you wanted to know about Helmod, write them in the comments and I try to answer. And generally, I hope you got a better understanding of how to use the Factorio planner, or, as I said, Helmod. And yeah, maybe you learned something. If so, leave a like. And always remember, the factory needs to grow. See you in another video. Bye bye.